Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the second edition of Great Northeast BJJ All-Star Hollywood Squares. It's good to see you guys. I am super stoked. I've been cooped up too long, and I need some positivity and some jiu-jitsu friends love. So thank you guys for all coming on. I'm super stoked. My man Nicky Grayhulk is in the building. Welcome, brother.
How you doing, guys? Great to see you.
Good, we're doing great.
So I'll just introduce. I mean, I feel like maybe you guys all know each other. Oh, Brian Marvin is about to enter the building too, and Ryan West. The handsomeness of this podcast just went
Hello,
up.
ladies.
What's up, Brian Marvin?
Oh, this is going to be fun.
So let me introduce everybody because now we're all here in the building. For anybody who doesn't know the Riddler is probably the only person in this podcast that has a stuffed animal toy that speaks his voice. Is
What's
that
up,
true?
Chris?
That's true, George. Yes. I'm not going to go get it. You can just imagine what it is. All right.
So I'm also going to try to be like positive and light tonight because it's like there's a world that's heavy. So I'm going to introduce everybody and like Chris Papandria. I've known a long time, but when I first met him, I don't know if he knew that I was the same person as I am on Facebook, and I set him up for the old, hey, let's take a picture. And then right before the picture took, I put him in the rear naked choke, and it was beautiful.
I remember that.
I wasn't sure how it was going to go.
What a garbage submission, George. What a garbage submission.
I take it. I'll take any. So Chris owns the academy in Indiana, if you don't know him. Welcome, brother. Ryan West, who is working right now.
Yeah, this fool.
How's it going, buddy?
It's going good. It's going good. How are you?
Dude, I'm good now that I see you.
I miss you guys.
You guys.
Ryan West is a black belt under Soka, right, on Long Island?
Yes, yes I am.
And
That's a first-degree black belt now.
Yes, I am.
yeah,
Yeah, you better respect that. Get it right. First degree.
lifts all the weights, dude. All of them. He eats the
There's
weight.
nothing else to do. I feel like I'm in prison right now.
You look like you just got out of the joint.
I had to give myself a haircut yesterday. Yeah, this is horrible.
Oh, man.
Dude, you shave your head. How difficult is it?
I realized I'm quite spastic with a buzzer, man. I look like a mental patient there for a while.
You
That's
are a
haircut
mental
difficulty
patient.
level 1.
So Brian Marvin, also on the podcast, my favorite Brian Marvin story is we were at the seminar, and he's showing his choke, and my wife is doing it to me, and he goes, just let go when he stops tapping. Not when he starts tapping, when he stops. And she did it. I had like a stroke in the thing. Half my body went to sleep.
Yes.
True story.
Yep.
Hey, I'll wake you up. You'll be all right.
He's fine. He's fine.
Be all right.
Here.
I was drooling. I couldn't move half my body. Dude, it was
Look at
ridiculous.
you. You're looking wonderful right now.
Right.
On the bright
And
side,
just-
you probably didn't pee your pants.
No, I didn't.
And just for clarity, Christy Sullivan did the same thing to him.
Put me completely to sleep in front of 100 people at Pellegrino's. Yeah. I was like, she's like, are you sleeping? I was like, no, I'm not sleeping. And then I was like, well, where am I? And I looked around and I was like, I don't know. Maybe I was sleeping. Everybody's staring at me. It was, par for the course for me. Greg Cinelli, American Patriot, BJJ, legend, firefighter, former Master Chief, right?
See,
All around godly human being.
Yeah. All that and $1.50 will buy me a cup of coffee.
I ran a race with Greg Cinelli one time. He did it in full firefighter gear and beat me. Had to wait for me. And Nicky Grayhulk, the last but man, my favorite of all time, Nicky Grayhulk. Dude, one of the best human beings I've ever met. Brought me and Brian
too kind.
and the rest of us around New York City after a seminar, and it was like a life-changing experience, man. Brought us to his firehouse, Myrtle the Turtles. Legend.
Yeah, I still got some great pictures of that. I went on a call with those guys.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was good having you guys up, man.
Hey, you forgot that idiot Jay Mansfield.
Jay Mansfield.
I'm the
forgot
epitome
him.
of a man who needs no introduction.
Yeah, you need plenty of them. Close.
I've tried to forget him, man. I've tried.
It's I usually they give the Sultan of Sting, the King of Knockouts, blah blah blah. It's just a list of my restraining orders.
The Ayatollah of rock and roll.
Dude, I stayed in a room for Pan Am's with Jay Mansfield and Mike Pellegrino. I would wake up. I'm sleeping on 2 chairs put together. One of them is a rolling chair. Jay Mansfield's walking around naked the entire time. I'm like, Jay, can you put some effing clothes on, dude?
I will also tell you the reason that we had those 2 chairs is that we stole them from the hotel lobby.
We did.
Brought them into our room.
Yes, we did.
The only thing I got to tell you, Brian, is that it was only chicken.
Yeah, that's true. It was only chicken.
I thought you were smarter than that. That you would. I would never share a hotel room with those two, Pell and him. Never.
Yeah, well, I learned after that.
Never, dude.
Hey, is that the time Christy was cutting weight with Pell or no?
That was that time, yeah, because I remember using that little gym.
Yeah, downstairs, yeah.
Treadmill and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was
Chris, how's everything going out there?
It's all right. Slow, obviously. It's kind of
Driving me nuts.
yeah. I need to get
Hey,
back
how
on.
far are you? Are you in Indianapolis, or how far are you from Indianapolis?
We're about 2 hours north, so we're actually about what,
205, possible to break a
we're about 45 minutes to an hour south of Coiler. So we're about 45 minutes south of Coiler. So we're about 2 hours north of Indianapolis.
Oh, okay. I'm going to be over that way, and at the 1st and 2nd of July. I'm going to be at my mom's house, but she's I think just south of Indianapolis.
Okay.
I'll figure it out when I get there. Hopefully I can stop in and see you.
All right. Well, my mom lives in just 20 minutes south of Indy, so I'll be down. We'll be
okay. Cool.
Brian, are you outside right now? What's the temperature?
Oh, it's nice right now. Yeah, it's nice out right now. It's 70 degrees.
Oh, man.
Oh! How's Shopa doing?
She's doing good. Hey, we got a MMA superstar, Lauren Murphy here, and her husband, black belt superstar Joe Murphy with me.
What's up, guys?
You guys all quarantined up?
Oh, yeah.
What are you guys doing hanging out with Brian? You need better company.
Yeah, he fed us. He's a pretty good cook, so decided to take advantage of that.
Is this Casa de Marvin?
No.
Because we're coming over, dude. We're heading there to quarantine. Quarantine in New Hampshire sucks.
It does, man. New Hampshire's not a fun place right now. They just did the well, I don't really want to go down this path, but they just did the shelter in thing, so we can't go anywhere.
It's getting a little warmer though.
Dude, the craziest story from going up there was when we ate at that restaurant, and then 2 weeks later, it was 3 feet underwater.
Underwater, yeah, the Bratskeller. Like,
believe it or not, that's
we
pretty
ate
normal
there,
at
and
that
you
place.
came back. I'm like, dude, that place is under 3 feet of water.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Man,
So-
what I wouldn't give to be driving past that place to go train right now.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, how's the gym going over there? You moved upstairs and across, right?
Yeah, that's good. It's a nice new spot.
Man, it's a,
We got
yeah, that
weird-
upstairs spot is killer. Have you not been to the upstairs spot?
No, you haven't ever invited me to come over, so I haven't been there yet.
Well, I mean, I don't want to make you feel bad, but it's on purpose. But dude, I will tell you this. I will tell you this. Like, definitely, we're gonna have you out, do something up there as soon as we get a chance to get back and around. But man, I'm hitting the choke all the time from the top and the bottom. Don't matter.
Heck yeah.
It's a good one.
Riddler,
Like,
Riddler
you know,
loves that thing too.
oh man, it's a great joke.
Man, I tried to get on BJJ Fanatics to teach that choke.
How come they didn't, like, my man Bernardo didn't want you on there?
I don't know. I talked to them, and they were like, I was like, I pretty much hit it from everywhere. I can explain it a lot, and I use it over and over in competition. So, but then it kind of fell off after that. But I don't know.
I love that the last piece of the instructions is always, and then I just give him a hug.
Just give him a hug.
Just give him a hug.
Brian, that one is at my purple belt level. That is the #1 choke, Brian. For me, it goes 1, 2, 3. That's the part I always remember. 1, 2, 3. Jam it down your dick. Go for it.
I don't think I did it that way.
Exactly what you said. I remember that. That's exactly the instruction. 1, 2, 3. Jam it in your dick. Reach over the top. That's,
No, I said put it between your legs.
that's what you said, right? Yeah.
No. Put it between your legs.
That was very memorable.
I don't recall Brian teaching it that way.
Yeah, right.
Him doing it to me.
Hey, how's the studio out there? Man, that was an amazing podcast we did out there. That place is kick ass.
It's looking good right now. I think you can see me right now, right? Let's see.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It looks like the Rolling Stones could record now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
right.
maybe not that, but it looks nice. Whoops. Oh, I'm going to make you guys all sick. There you go. Yeah, it looks nice at night. You can kind of see out and see the stars and shit, too, which is nice. But, yeah, got a couple of new guitars in there. My friend Steve's drum set is rocking. So,
Where's your dog, man?
oh, the doggo. He's actually stuck down there. Can you see him? He's,
Oh, there he is.
yeah. Normally, he's over here on his super pad. But he's decided to go hole up over there right now. My dog's name is Jack. He's super cute. I'm sure he'll come and see us later. But there you go. Back to the program at hand.
Greg Cinelli, what have you been up to, dude?
Working, or lack thereof. So the city of Lawrence closed everything down. So the gym I was working at on my days off from the firehouse, they've shut down, but they've gone online with all their athletes. So that's good. So at least the athletes are getting the instruction they need, and they're actually focusing they're focusing everything for them so that they can work out from home. And then obviously all the jiu-jitsu gyms are closed in Massachusetts. So that was my every Thursday, competition class I was teaching. So that's closed now until further notice. So we're just waiting everything out and just, hoping and praying everything, comes through and that, we can basically get back on the mat with people again,
Yeah, it's kind of weird. The concept of not training is something that, all of us figured that if it was going to go down like that, it was going to be something like an injury of some kind. You know what I mean? It was going to be, I tore my ACL or I hurt my neck. That's going to keep me from training or whatever. And it's something completely out of our control.
You can prepare new guys and people that come into the art itself. You can say, hey, look, it's not a matter of if you're going to ever get injured. It's just a matter of when you're going to get injured and how bad that injury is going to be. But we're not playing tennis on that mat. This isn't tennis. We're not, some of my best buddies are ones that want to kill me. So but on the other hand, how do you prepare someone new that just started a couple of months ago and is starting to, just come around and start to fall in love with it. And then all of a sudden this happens and the gym shut down. And I mean, it's tough for them, and there's a lot of funny jokes going around now on all the various blogs and everything about how, hey, if you're a blue belt, just look at this portion as your blue belt blues. It's kind of funny, that people have to look at it like they have to take a step away, for now, when it's been such a huge portion of somebody's life, But I mean, I guess I consider myself pretty lucky in the respect that, I'm not in Ryan or Nicky's situation where in the New York area, it's even worse.
Guys, hang on. Let me interrupt for just a sec. So, Brian, it sounds like something's going on behind you. That's what we're hearing. So it's cool. You can just mute your mic when you're not talking. You can do it yourself.
I don't know how to do that. I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay. Well, take a look. You might be able to see it. I can do it for you too. But
look at that, you genius! You figured it out already.
All right.
We do it to Jay all the time.
Sorry to interrupt, guys. There you go. Back to it.
You know what's funny about we say that like we're out there, we're not playing tennis. Before the Pan Ams when Brian got hurt, we went to show you roll and we were training on the mats there. And in my opinion, for Brian and I training together, we were going like pretty light because we were both competing that weekend and we were like going pretty light. And Marco and Bear were talking. It was like, those guys are going at it, man. Those guys are trying to kill each other. And Brian and I are like, dude, this is 4 on a scale of 10. We're like just chilling. And it makes it like I'm reminiscing about the kind of those training sessions and seeing all you guys, you know what I mean? Regretting that we're not choking each other right now.
Yeah, I posted that picture the other day from all of us in there.
Oh man, what a good day! That was such a good day.
Yeah, it was.
It was a really good day. Great training. Great to see those guys. Obviously, they're in the same situation. They got a no visitor policy, and that place is the revolving door of who's who of jiu-jitsu, right? Like you go to Show Your Roll HQ on any given day, you could be rolling with Lauzinho or the Meow Brothers, or like you never know who's going to be hanging out there. And it's a bummer that those outlets, these abilities for us to congregate as jiu-jitsu guys to go train, and taking that away is like ripping your heart out of your chest. You know what I'm saying?
Grayhulk, what do you do, dude, when you ain't doing jiu-jitsu? Like, what have you been up to? Nick.
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
I've just been working, and then I'm pretty lucky we got the gym still that we can use there. But
all right.
What they're doing is they changed our work schedule. They're trying to keep every group of guys segregated, so we're not cross-contaminating. So they changed our work schedule around a little bit. I don't know if it's similar to Greg. They limited the medical responses for the engine companies. So the trucks are just responding to like structural fire type runs, and then the engines are only going on structural and cardiac, confirmed cardiac conditions. They're not going out on the other type of medical runs. They're just trying to minimize, the exposure people are going through.
That's exactly right, Nicky. That's what our chief did. He came down with an order that basically put us where we're only going on what we would call level A medicals. So strokes, cardiac issues, things of that nature. I mean, you're still doing the MVAs, you're still going to fires, but the level of medicals, the types of medicals that we would normally go on, he's trying to cut down on the exposure rate for our guys so that we won't. Because if one guy, just 1 or 2 guys get it, now you've got a whole crew that's been contaminated. Yeah, and now you've got to quarantine that entire crew. Then then you go back to the firehouse and you think about, okay, when were they contaminated and when were they exposed? Is it the crew that they relieved at the firehouse, or the crew that relieved them at the firehouse that has to worry? So now you're talking about 3 groups of fellas that have been affected by it.
Yeah, it was saying the firehouses smell like community pools. It smell like bleach and chlorine. Everybody's getting scrubbed down.
Home, but,
every place is getting scrubbed down. But
don't be in the pool.
It was a bummer of a birthday today. Today's my birthday, and spent it on
Hey,
lockdown.
happy birthday, buddy.
Spent it on lockdown.
Happy birthday.
Birthday, Nicky.
Happy birthday, brother.
So Ryan can beat me up for all you guys.
Yes,
I can't wait.
Hey,
Ryan will throw me
Nicky,
a
I'm going to
beat.
be up there in June, though.
You can throw me a beating then.
I'm going to be up there in June. I'm going to come see you. I'll be with
Yeah,
Ryan,
absolutely.
though. So.
I hope
Absolutely.
you can
I
come
can't
up
wait.
with June.
Yeah,
Can't
because
wait.
Ryan's scared to come down here to Houston, so I'm going to have to go up there to see you guys.
Hey, I was all set to come down.
He was
The
all
virus
set
thing
to
took
go.
over.
Yeah. I had it all lined up and everything.
He was all
You
set
know
up.
I did. That's all.
I had it all done.
I
He was
can't
all
wait
set
to
up
kick
to
your
go.
bearded ass.
What's going on in June?
There is a fundraiser for Combined Arms thing downtown, and I'm going to go up there for that. They've got like a poker night thing. Well, hopefully it's still going on, but hey, guys.
Hey, Brian, is that still going on?
I don't know. I still got my plane ticket, so even if
So
it's
do I,
not,
but
I mean,
you know,
I'll still come up either way, whether it's where there
they
it
may
is or
put a
not.
travel ban on New York now. Like
Yeah.
a total travel ban. Like you're not allowed to. I can't leave the state of New York now.
Yeah, but that's in like June, so hopefully we're better by then.
So I had this grand plan to get into New York, to get into to Yankee Stadium to distribute the coronavirus to all the players in there, and now it's ruined because I'm not allowed to leave New Hampshire.
You're gonna have to come in like Snake Plissken in a glider and escape from New York.
Oh, Snake.
To fly in over the wall.
And we got big troubles on our end. I think we have a general manager. We don't have a quarterback, and I'm not sure that there's a season. So I'm hurting, man. I'm hurting.
Well, look at also
we got
look
the
at,
greatest coach of all time.
and you got to look at the Bruins, for crying out loud. The Bruins had the most points. They were going to win the President's Trophy, and now the Bruins are, and now we don't know what's going to happen with the NHL.
Right, and I think about that, and I think, you know who I think about is Dano Chara. And I'm like, man, this was his last run. What an amazing job. We were talking to John Anik earlier today, and John was talking about how hard it is to lose in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals and then bring your team back to make a run as epically as the Bruins were doing, and probably maybe his last year, and to have this happen. That I mean, obviously I'm not minimizing the suffering and death that other people are dealing with, but it sucks if you're Zdeno Chara knowing that your season's going to come to an end when you had such a great shot. I mean, they were shutting down Tampa Bay. They were shutting down everybody. You know what I mean? The style of hockey they were playing and the health they had. It's like any big jiu-jitsu tournament. You know, the right combinations you have to have great training. Can't get sick. Can't get hurt. Got to be at the top of your game. Got to eat right. Got to drink right. Do all that stuff. And they were doing it. And I really felt like the Bruins were going to go for the Stanley Cup this year, but stuff happens.
It's been a rough one. A lot of teams were having good seasons this year, and I'll be happy if they started back up for football. I mean, I remember when they first started this, and they canceled all sports, and I was devastated because I'm a big sports junkie. Lo and behold, 2 weeks later, I can't even leave my house. So I'm like, the hell with sports. I just want to go. I want to go to the gym.
Hey, Ryan, who cut your hair? Like shit.
Listen, I had to do it myself here.
It's like a schizophrenic cutting. What the
Hey,
don't listen to him, man.
do?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Ryan, I got a question for
No,
you.
it's not. Don't lie to him.
He is part schizophrenic. He's been locked in his house for a week.
2 weeks. 2 weeks I've been in my house.
He's on a podcast under the interior light of his cruiser right now, looking like the natural born killer with a badge.
Yeah, that's not creepy at all. Not creepy at all.
It's not creepy. I know. I look like a mental patient right now.
Brian, on the topic of baseball, do you think the Astros can win if they're not allowed to have a trash can?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, see, I mean, you kind of need Alex Cora for that, but, He made
Man,
it.
you know what I think about? What's funny about that whole situation is, that's part of the intricacies of the game, like stealing signs and things like that. And everybody does it. That's the reason that you have signs. You know
Wait a minute. Wait, is that your justification for what the Astros did? Everybody does.
I think it is.
Yeah, 100%.
They're
No,
pioneers. They're
Hold on, that's the guy on second
Everybody else is
base.
going to start doing it now.
They're
too.
the first ones that
Pioneers.
They
there's a
weren't
bunch of haters.
Listen, if a guy's on second base and catches, the catcher throwing down a number 2 for a curveball or something, that's one thing. You guys are using cell phones and garbage cans to relay messages to each other. Get out of here.
I heard it was like a whistle too.
There was a lot, yeah.
Hey, and you know what's funny about that whistle? I specifically remember when I was watching those games, hearing that whistle and going, man, that's fucking annoying. Because it was like that charge whistle was like or something like that, or it was supposed to be like 2 different whistles that they were using or something. And I remember specifically hearing those 2 whistles during the game and goes, man, that's so fucking annoying, that guy whistling, whoever that is. But I don't know.
It's like Morse code.
Right? Yeah, no shit.
I can't remember what they said. Just the fact that Alex Cora came to the Red Sox has led to a whole bunch of stuff like that too. And there's not a lot of they haven't materialized what the method was, but I think the theory was an iWatch. I think
Nobody.
Like alerts. Yeah, I heard something about alerts to an iWatch or something like that.
Yeah, vibration. Like if it's a breaking ball, it was a vibration, right? Or a fastball, it was a vibration.
I don't know. Are you in bed, Jay?
Yeah, well, this is the second time I told my wife she needed to be quiet, and she said, well, I'm going to watch TV and you can go to the bedroom.
Do you have your pants on?
I mean, if I answer, you're not going to believe me, and if I show you...
You're right. I'm not at all. At all.
I'll just tell you I'm real comfortable.
Yeah, I'm sure. God!
Actually, pretty much all of us have only been in our comfy clothes for the last couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
Man,
Ryan is not in his comfy clothes right now.
Well, Joe and I, we decided to remodel the gym during this time. There's a bunch of projects that I had that I wanted to do, and I never had time, and I never shut down voluntarily. So when I was forced to close, it was like prime time to full court press to do so many renovations to the gym. It was crazy.
We've been pretty busy, basically nonstop. We started a bunch of the virtual classes. Probably working longer hours and harder than when the academy's open these past few weeks.
Which is awesome. Great use of your time, right? Stay at work, make things better. I know that Pell was talking about doing the same thing when I talked to him today. Brian, did I see construction on a new location?
Yeah, it's about 5 miles from my current gym. It's 2,000 square feet. Joe is actually going to be the one teaching there.
Yeah.
And it's his Gracie Riverstone.
Thank you. Yeah, super excited about it. Congrats, man. That's awesome.
It's right in the middle of the community. It's a really cool neighborhood, and right where I've been wanting to put a gym, and I just needed something to be constructed there. So they started building something there, and I'm going to have my own 2,000 square foot building in this really cool courtyard complex thing. I was trying to get it open in April, but I'm really starting to slow play that thing now to get it June or July. So
just to make sure you got a place where people can go, right?
Yeah, I mean, literally, I wanted to be able to have people walk to it from their houses in the community and train jiu-jitsu. That's ideal for what I want to have.
And
that is awesome.
That is an absolute possibility for sure. So.
That is killer.
Looking forward to getting those doors opened up and getting that going.
That's specifically what we avoid in Portsmouth. If you can walk there from your house, I don't want you there. It's scary. You got to cross the railroad tracks, and it's no good.
So these guys don't know really our current situation, where our gym was. You guys have a lot of you guys have been there, but we were in a racquetball court for a while, and then we moved upstairs to this really cool spot. It's huge, it's perfect. And then the people that were leasing the gym from the building owner had issues, and they left. And so it's us right now in this empty 35,000 square foot building.
You guys are in that thing by yourself?
By ourselves.
Oh, yeah, man.
Dude, are you serious?
So we were going over the finances of like, because we got to supply toilet paper. We got like soap in the shower and stuff. Like that we figured out how to use the sauna. We're in the sauna after class every night.
Are you serious? You have that whole building by yourselves?
It is awesome.
Dude, that is crazy.
That's nuts. It's absolutely insane. But we're also like month to month because they're trying to sell it. So it's like it's like the best and the worst at the same time. You know?
Now, is there a chance that when they sell it, you'll be able to still stay in that spot?
Yeah,
because I mean, they could sell it as look. We've already got a paying client already there.
Exactly. And he's like, well, I'm happy to bring it up with whoever buys the place. We're always like, he lets us know when he's got someone that's looking at it. The reality is like if we got to move, we got to move. It's nothing we haven't done before. We love the space.
Yeah, but everything I see, who posts the pictures of that place?
Georgie.
Okay, good. So then I'll be able to start talking shit again because I wasn't sure who was posting the pictures. Initially, I was talking a little bit of shit, but then I wouldn't. And then I was like, I'll cool a little bit until I figure out who's posting those pictures. But the stuff that you post, those black and white pictures are freaking awesome. I love the stuff that you post.
Dude, it's like the best lighting in there.
Yeah.
So the funny part, this is how ridiculous we are. Like we got banned from our own Instagram account. So like we had to take over Jay's.
Why?
Well, we don't know. We lost the password or whatever, and then we couldn't get back in.
And they wouldn't give it to us.
They wouldn't give it to us.
Now it's really weird if you're friends.
Is that you self-quarantine yourself from your own Facebook account?
Yeah. I mean, we have some theories. There's some theories, but the funny part is like the people that I connected with on my Instagram before we turned it into the business account are like, I'll get a message on Facebook or a text be like, dude, someone took over your Instagram. There's like this kid with a giant head like posting on your Instagram all the time. And I was like, oh, don't worry about it. That's just Jorge. Look at
That was a long way to get there, but I think it paid off really well in the end there. Nice work there, Jay.
Dude, it's big, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful head. And when I do jiu-jitsu, I use it. It's not good for anything else.
So, Chris, you've been quiet, man. What's going on your end?
Not much. We just renewed our lease for our school. We've been there for, a year? We've been a year into our new building. So that's what we did.
Is that your better half there?
She is.
Hi.
Stacy. So.
Hey, Stacy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
So we just renewed our lease. We're going to be opening a new school about 45 minutes away from us, an affiliate for us. Probably we need to find a building for them, but as soon as quarantine is done. But we're going to be doing that soon. And then we have an affiliate in Tennessee as well. So that's about it.
I got a new front desk out of this quarantine stuff.
She did.
Nice.
She got a new front desk. And we expanded our mats.
It's quality.
Yay.
Just to not use them.
Just to not use them.
What was the deal, Chris, when you said, hey, when we plan our third location in the Empire, I'll let you have a desk?
I already had a Stacy Island, kind of is what he deemed it. And it was a makeshift of 2 desks, and it looked awful. So now I have a whole real desk now. So a year later.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the growing, man. That's amazing. If you're,
it's actually Brian's fault on the desk because she saw Brian's front desk in a picture, and she goes, "I want that." So,
nice. That desk is nice, man. Your front entry is nice.
Thanks. Sorry about that. Hey, Chris. Hey, you did the ego, right?
Mm-hmm.
And down in Nashville when we did the tag team match, right?
Yeah.
let's talk about that because that was one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. That's when I met you too.
Yep. I was there I've done most of the egos.
Hang on, guys. What is an ego? And did you say tag team match?
Yes.
Okay, someone explain what's going on.
Okay, so it's a 5-on-5. So the ego is it's kind of the tournament, main tournament in Indiana. It's the Extreme Grappling Open. It's run by James Clareman. That's a nice bottle of wine. James kind of runs the big association in Indiana. Didn't you compete at that? I competed at most of them, yeah. But I think I reffed that tournament that you did.
Okay. I knew I met you down there, but I couldn't remember if you were, I mean, it was so long ago, I couldn't remember if you were competing against me or if you're reffing.
I think I reffed the tag team match, the tournament that you did. But the tag team super fight, it's 5-on-5. So 2 guys enter, and you can basically tag 2 guys, your teammates on either side, and you can double team somebody for, I think it's like 5 seconds. And no heel hooks are allowed during that double team. And then once the time's up, that person that's originally was in jumps out, but you can continually like drag the person over to one side, so you can like continually tag people in over and over and over and over and over again, and kind of run a train on a guy over and over again.
That might be something different.
Watching George every time.
Hey, Mansfield's like, I'm
trying not to laugh.
That's
This is
something else.
City
I think it might be
BJJ kind
mixing
of
up phrases.
It's a lot of fun. Like,
I've never been to prison myself. I'm just saying. I think that's something else.
Of all the analogies, that's the one.
Yeah,
you
but
went.
I thought that's where I met you. I was down at that ego down in Nashville when I did that tag team match.
Yeah, but you can YouTube it. I think it's like Extreme Grappling Open Tag Team Super Fight. We've done them a couple times at the egos. I actually have the kids do them in our school just for fun, and the kids love doing them. I do it with the adults just to break up the monotony sometimes.
You let kids do heel hooks or no?
No heel hooks.
Those kids got to learn someday about heel hooks. Day one.
If you don't show them, they'll just learn it out on the street.
Yeah,
true.
We used to back in the day in Boston. We'd separate. I think this was technically a Royal Rumble, right? So you'd separate the entire class into 2 groups, and then you would just go at it. And if you were tapped, you were out. And I remember.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, if you got tapped, you would be out, and then until you were down to none.
Until you were down to none. That's exactly it. And I just remember Kenny Florian would not fight anybody one-on-one. He would just run over to groups that were already grappling and footlock everybody, and people would be off the mat constantly. But super fun. We do it every now and again at the academy. I think we play more jiu-jitsu tag, but that gets serious when people start slapping each other. I'm like, hey, it's tag. It's tag. You literally slapped me.
So you can have. So at the tag team, you can like be on either side of the line, but something has to be on either side of the line. So like your toe could be on either side of the line. So your like whole body could be stretched across, and your partner could be on the opposite end. So you could be like 6'7" stretched across the mat, trying to reach your partner. That is incredible. Yeah. So they're fun to do. The kids love doing them sometimes. Well, sometimes. But we did it once with one of our female blue belts just for fun. And she actually, that was the night we gave her a blue belt because she was the last person standing on her team. And she tapped she submitted everybody, I think, after that. She's 5'2".
She's little.
Yeah, and she tapped everybody else.
Those are the ones you got to watch out for, like Amanda.
I happen to be 5'2". I don't know.
Yeah, you walk into that role saying like, I got to be careful here. I don't want to hurt anybody. You're gonna walk out like, what just happened?
And just imagine being her husband rolling with her, and all that pent up aggression coming out in heel hooks and wrist locks.
House rules, in my opinion, house rules always supersede academy rules. So if a couple are going at it and someone's like, hey, man, they're training really rough and they're yelling at each other, I'm like, those rules supersede our rules. We don't get involved in that.
Not that ever happens.
No, I'm not. As an example.
I never tried to do any of that stuff.
Amanda never tries to kill me. Never.
Well,
it's like the highlight of my day when I get to roll with George.
The thing
that's a highlight of my day too.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you people are rotten. You're all rotten. Jay Mansfield just like tries to eat my soul every time we roll. It looks like it's not even fun anymore.
That was the old Jay. This is the COVID Jay. COVID Jay is not trying to compete anywhere. Yeah, man. Like it's a bummer. Like for all you guys that are competitors, Brian, I know you were on the razor's edge right there with. You had a fight that was supposed to happen. Never happened, right?
Yeah, I was actually pulling into the parking lot to weigh in for that fight when they got canceled. That really sucked.
And I've never felt more ready to compete than getting ready for Pans this year. I was like, man, I'm at the top of my game. I'm like the strongest I've ever been. I'm completely uninjured. I'm ready to go. And then I was eating candy bars.
And now look at you. You're laying in bed with no pants on.
Right. I mean, I'm going to have to put some pants on if I go downstairs to get more pizza, but actually I'm probably more pants on to get more pizza.
Why you got to put pants on to get pizza?
That's what I'm saying. I'm probably not going to do that. I'm just going to go get my pizza. And then there was silence.
One of my favorite podcast moments was how upset Riddler was when we did the podcast at Pell's place with Brian, and I didn't know how to shut the mic off. We were like, "Can we get food?" Yeah, let's get food. I'll shut the mic off. I didn't know how to shut the mic off, so Brian goes to get the food. We never shut it off. We just kept going.
45 minutes later, I bring back pizza, only because we ordered Mexican food, and they brought us back two tacos.
That's right. That's right.
There's 2 tacos with 8 people.
I forgot about that. That's right. And then we ate pizza on the podcast, and really
it was delicious, too.
He was pissed.
You remember that place we walked to? It was
Of course I was pissed. There's nothing grosser than a bunch of people eating on the microphone right into people's headphones, you know?
That's not true. Have you ever seen Two Girls, One Cup?
Yeah. I think you've made – there's sort of like a scale here, Jay. Maybe not a binary here.
Well, you said there's nothing grosser. I'm just saying.
You know, but okay. I know you're right. I will absolutely – I'll concede. You are correct. There is something grosser than you guys eating directly into the microphones, into people's headphones. But, yes, you're absolutely right. Thanks. Good.
Sorry about that.
How's We Defy doing?
They're doing good.
Yeah, what's going on? Anything what do they do when there's no jiu-jitsu? There's no events to put on, right? I mean, it's probably work to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of the stuff they've been posting recently is about just staying mentally tough and strong and on edge and things like that. So I think that's the message right now, to reach out to whoever you can for support and help if you need it, you know?
That's why I reached out to you guys. I need the support. Amanda's sick of me walking around the house pissed.
Well,
You guys got mats? Choke him out, Amanda.
I know. I've actually been getting jiu-jitsu out because I've been doing these Zoom calls 3 days a week with doing the women's classes. So I've actually, luckily, been kind of training still. Not my normal schedule, but I get together with all the girls just like how we are here, and I teach a class. And so we all do it together. It's great. It's not like being at the gym, but it's kind of close. You know, it's not too bad.
Anybody else teaching classes? Chris, are you?
Kind of. I started doing, actually kind of followed your lead and Pete Wilhelm's lead. Actually, Pete called us the other day, just out of the blue, about doing, like, sending homework home for the kids. So what I did was, well, kind of homework. Just posting on the student Facebook page to like making grappling dummy and doing drills for the like couple arm bar drills for X amount of minutes, or like Googling like jiu-jitsu trivia and have them watching jiu-jitsu videos. Like we did who competed in all 24 world championships. With him on the student page. So they actually have to research competitors and watch competition videos. So they actually start learning about who these guys are. And post them answering the questions. So it gives them actual, I get to see what they're doing, not like, oh, the parents are answering the questions for them, which I know some of them are trying to do, but I want to see them actually giving me the answers. So that's what we've been doing. I need to get on a mat or else I'm going to choke my wife out soon.
Yeah, you look like you're getting pretty frustrated right now.
Hey, for you guys that are own academies and doing all this virtual classes and stuff that I see, how's that working out for you guys? Because I saw, for those of you that know Uncle Joe, he's been trying that, and I don't even think he knows how to turn on his phone or anything like that. So he's having a rough time with it. So I was wondering if you're having any problems, if people are taking part of it.
Yeah, I've had some good success. The first time I got on, I had a big class. The next one was a little smaller. The one after that, Fridays are never a big day for me anyway. But like my regular, like the girls who are completely committed, they are always on. So we'll see next week. Next week will be the second week that I've been doing it. We'll see like how the numbers are. But I think it's one way to engage the team and keep us together. So when we do get back to the mats, we're not starting from scratch all over again with new people. You know, I'm trying to keep our people who I know, they are like on the same path than I am. We have the same goals. I want to keep those people engaged. So when we do get back to the mat, it won't be like, having the grueling task of like starting from scratch, at least physically, because there's such a demand on our bodies. Like it's important that we at least stay fit. So we're not necessarily doing like jiu-jitsu, but we're doing like all the abs. We're going to incorporate some weights next week. So push-ups, air squats, stuff like that, just kind of stay in shape.
I like the fact that I was watching Chris actually the other day, and I like the fact that he puts in just really good content. He'll put a technique out over Instagram, and and he'll explain it in detail, and he does like a quick hit.
Where did you go? He just like walk off the thing. He's just like talking. He's like, I'm out of here.
It's
hey guys, what's up? I'm back.
It's just good to see that people are putting a technique out. I see it on a lot of other blogs and a lot of other pages, but watching Chris do it is really it's been really good, because I noticed that he's putting stuff out. He usually builds upon it. He keeps it all. He keeps everything kind of related in the technique throughout each time he goes in and puts it out over Instagram or something. I think he's doing a great job with that. I noticed that for sure.
Yeah, because it's actually what we were going to do curriculum-wise. That's what we were planning on doing that the past 2 weeks was those drills. And, well, since we weren't able to do class, that's what I was going to teach. So I figured, I was going to film them anyway for our student pages for our guys in our affiliate schools. So I'd film them and do them and post them for everybody. So I have a couple more that I got to post anyway. And then my lovely wife is going to be the dummy for the other ones.
So it is true. That's what we're down to. I'm going to have to talk to Liz because she's got to step up, man. I'm going to let them know that you got significant others that are stepping up. I'm not
volunteering.
No, you got volunteered.
That's the beautiful part about jiu-jitsu. You don't have to.
I don't do jiu-jitsu as well.
Hey, Greg, sorry about that before. I thought Duncan was asking that question, and he was walking away as he was asking it. I didn't realize that was you. I was like, where is he going? He's asking the question. He's walking away. On my phone, I only have like 4 of us on here, so I have to scroll over to find out who's asking the question. Sorry
every time somebody talks, I have to scroll through on my phone to see. Okay,
yeah, me too. I'm like, and I thought it was Duncan asking it. And he was just like walking away asking the question. I was like, hey, nice ass, but where's he going?
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
There's a gallery. There's a little gallery view on your phone if you can find it, so you can see everybody talking at one time. But
I don't know how to do that. But sorry about that, Greg. I apologize. No, I didn't mean to be like, what the hell?
No, it was funny. It was funny, actually.
Hey, Brian, I believe in you. If you just touch the screen, just touch it, and you can figure it out.
Oh boy.
By the way, Brian's been doing some online techniques. I saw that spider guard drill with the belt leading to demonstration on how to move spider guard to X guard and single leg X and that kind of thing.
Yeah, this week we were working on spider guard and lasso leg, and Gigi wants to say hi. Oh, there she goes. But we were working on that, and we were working on a hip toss. Next week, we're going to work on a drop Seiyonagi, so you can still do it like solo drills with a belt or a elastic band, and then a standing guard path. What's that?
Nothing.
Yeah, so like if they're solo and they don't have anybody that they can train with, then they can either use their belt or like an elastic band if they have one of those like resistance bands. But just trying to give them something, yeah. But just give them something that they can do. They can still work on their handwork and footwork while they're doing this. I mean, if they can work on that and mimic that handwork and footwork, then that's a lot of what it is. I mean, nothing's going to substitute training or being with the person or being able to drill with the person that isn't just like laying there and is an active partner. But in this interim, while we're in this situation that we're at now, anything that we can do, at least actively engaging our mind and our body to do it, is going to be helpful in the situation,
I think those resistance band drills are actually pretty cool. I've seen a bunch of solo stuff that's junk that everybody's putting out. I'm like you're trying too hard. Like, let's go back to basics. There's stuff that we do. We can shrimp. We can do the wall versions and stuff like that. We can, what I mean?
Juju.
I remember looking back, Ronda Rousey, I think, did a similar thing with when she was working her drop Seiyonagi with the resistance band, and she would rep it out with that band. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think it's an excellent drill because the Seiyonagi is never one that is done without resistance, right? There's always going to be that pull back. You got to work your core and kind of bring the guy in. And I think it's an excellent drill.
I think I've actually liked the live drills the best. The live videos, I mean. So the ones that are pre-recorded and posted later, those are good. But the ones that I watch the most are actually the live drills. Or the live techniques that are on social media. Because if you have a question, you can just message them, and then they look at their messages before they are done with the live video, and they'll answer your question right then and there. Those actually are the ones I find myself watching the most.
Yeah, I've been using Instagram Live and Facebook Live and interacting with people, or we've been interacting with people
all week. We got a lot of feedback, a lot of questions. Like you said, it's nice to be able to answer them live in that format.
Yep.
Plus, our kids, we do the kids classes too, and our kids just love to wave and say hi and hear us say their name on a live feed. They eat it up. So
that's awesome.
Very cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. Ryan, you're probably a guy that gets to grapple the unwilling, right? Like you're probably getting your training in.
Oh, all the time. 911 calls don't stop. They're still calling for everything. So it is nonstop calls. It never ends.
What's the most popular technique in the streets of New York today?
Hey guys, it's all good. Just one at a time. So go with Jay there.
Ryan, what's the most popular technique in the streets of New York tonight? Double leg takedown, back take. What is it?
I'm always a fan of the double leg takedown. It's the most effective.
Nice.
Hey.
Yeah, Brian, what's up?
I said tonight it's the front kick. Oh.
Tonight he's sitting in the cruiser and he ain't talking to anybody but us.
Right.
Yeah, we were told to stay away from most people unless it's an absolute emergency because it's blowing up here in New York.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to ask earlier.
They just keep calling. It's nonstop.
Yeah, have they restricted on, like, are you doing, like, priority calls for certain things or?
As far as any medical calls go, they just want us to, unless it's like life-threatening, to kind of have a hands-off approach to it because the people are just testing positive left and right up here. There's just too many people. It's spreading too easily up here. But, I mean, you think the department would give me, my own personal PP and stuff like that, and they gave us a set for the car, so like 8 guys have to share it. I'm like, yeah, I'd rather have. Oh, it's kind of more of a hands-off technique.
Yeah, I heard that the first responders have actually had 300 of their people infected just by helping other people. So first responders in New York are getting hit really hard right now. It's good. I don't know.
What's the problem with this is that they don't want to. Police is because
stand by. Ryan will come back. Stand by. Ryan's
that get infected. Who's gonna? So they're trying to keep us kind of all segregated at the moment.
I heard we're going to be segregating the whole state of New York, and you guys aren't allowed to even leave.
Nope.
I'm surprised. We might not be allowed to talk to you guys right now. You're not going to infect us through the computer, are you?
We're going to try. If I'm going down, I'm taking everybody with me.
That's the Matrix stuff right there. COVID over the internet. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I think they said the FDNY had over 6,000 runs the other day. It's the most runs they've had since 9/11 in one day. Most 911 calls. So it's been pretty busy.
Crazy.
Man, I can't even imagine.
Getting calls from people that are kind of breaking the shelter-in rule, like hey, there's a guy shooting a basketball in my neighborhood, like whatever, like. That kind of like BS type stuff where a guy's just outside doing his thing, or are they serious calls? If they're very serious calls, what do you think's causing all that?
Well, everything as far from our end, it might be a little different for Ryan. Everything is we're hitting the brakes on everything. We're just making sure what we have. Like, we don't get sent out on things like that, but the cops do. So I think the NYPD is doing similar to what Suffolk PD is doing. They're taking it easy going into everything, making sure that they don't have to have any unnecessary contact with people, trying to minimize it. But the biggest problem seems to be people that are just emotionally disturbed over it, and they're calling in things. My friend's wife is a nurse, and she's saying people are going to the hospital demanding, tests for the coronavirus, and they don't have any symptoms. They don't have any of the ailments, but they're whipped up into a frenzy. So they're saying, I demand this, I demand that. They had a couple incidents in her waiting room in the hospital. somebody was throwing around chairs. Another guy started coughing on people because he was upset he had to wait. So I think the real heroes of this are the nurses and basically nurses and truck drivers, man.
Seriously. They have to be there when they are passing with no family. Like, they're the only people there holding the person's hand who's dying, and the people who are dying have no family there. Like, they're the first, those poor nurses. I mean, my heart goes out to them.
Yeah, they're working really hard.
Yeah.
They're putting in a lot of hours. They're dealing with a lot. They're pretty tight.
Yeah.
I think it's certainly a really tough gig, and if you wanted to be cold-hearted about it, you could say that that's what they signed up for. But at the same time, it's they in that profession, there's never enough people to do the job that needs to be done, and so the people that there are, 3 people need to do the job of 5 people, and that's just the way that it is on a regular basis. And so,
Jay, I kind of feel you could say the same thing about any first responder or anything. I mean, people always say, well, they go into that burning building because that's what they signed up for, and if somebody dies, so be it. Or that police officer gets takes 2 to the chest. That's because that's what he signed up for. Just because you sign up to do a profession doesn't mean that you're not a human being. We're all human beings, and I think I take this very close to heart in a way because my son, my middle kid, is an ICU nurse at the Beth Israel in Boston, and the other night he was the charge nurse of the COVID-19 ICU.
Wow.
So I mean it's scary in the fact that here's this kid, I was changing his diapers, and the next thing I know, he's running an ICU with COVID-19 patients, wall to wall in there, and you're going, okay, how did I blink and this all of a sudden happened, So it's hitting close to home now because I'm real, you realize that your kid is doing something so important, and taking care of people,
And that's where I was getting with that was that. When it's easy to look at it from a numbers perspective and be like, oh, well, that's what you chose to do. And you got education, you go and doing the job, and now you're asked to do the job, so you got to do the job. It's just, it's a very human involvement in what we're dealing with right now. And this whole quarantine thing is a luxury for some of us that don't have to do it, who aren't being who aren't required to go and serve the public. It is actually a luxury for us to say, I don't have to put myself at risk. And the rest of these people, they do have to put themselves at risk. And since there's less of them, it's double or triple the work that they're normally used to handling in a very hostile environment. So, I only have the biggest respect for all the folks out there, first responders, firemen, policemen, nurses, doctors, anyone out there who's taking care of us right now. It's it's hell on earth, for them to deal with this right now, but no one's better equipped than they are, and I know that they'll take care of it.
Greg, one of my cousins, she is a pediatric ER doctor in Cincinnati, and my mom texted me last night and said that she had her PPE on and was exposed to the COVID-19 and got diagnosed with it last night. She tested positive for it last night, so some of it does.
Wow, man. Wow.
Yeah. So just because, the PPE is on you doesn't mean that it does work. So guys,
how's it where you're at, Chris? Like I know Illinois is bad and Chicago is bad. And then in Cincinnati,
we had our first, Indianapolis, I don't think we
Bigger cities are bad. Like Indianapolis is bad. Here in Rochester and little Mayberry, we've had 1 case. So we're really fortunate.
We had our first, it was shelter in this past week. Mm-hmm. We got ordered shelter in this week, but really, there's more people out on the street this week than there was when the governor said, hey, guess what, bars and restaurants can only do dine-in. That's when I said we were going to close our school, was when bars and restaurants were going to start closing down. And, there's less people on the streets then than there are now when people are supposed to be quarantined. But common sense would say stay home, but now there's more people out. Me personally, like, we have 2 people in our school, like my daughter, she has an autoimmune disease. She has alopecia, and we can't afford for her to ever be sick because, you know, she got a compromised immune system. One of our students at our school, she has a compromised immune system. So we couldn't afford for us to stay open. And like, I keep that place like a hospital. Like, I stay late every night to clean that place. It's like a hospital. So we couldn't afford to stay open, but with everything going on. So
that's the way you should be running it, and that's awesome, and I'm glad that you're doing it. I don't know if you guys have noticed, if you're on, social media a decent amount, and I know all of you, at least the school owners are, because we have to be, but there's some folks out there like getting together and training and not hiding it. And I'm like, the fact that you guys can get together and you feel healthy and you don't even know if you're really healthy, and you're getting together with a bunch of other people. It's even if it's not you, it's just you're taking a risk for all of us, right? You're creating a problem for all of us.
And, we had done some training that I had. There were a few people that got together to train at some places, and it wasn't necessarily that bad until just random people would show up wanting to train. And so then, that kind of got kiboshed. It's tough to not at least be able to train a little bit, even with it's someone that, I don't know, you're in close contact and they're quarantining kind of themselves too. So in situations like that, like George and Amanda, you guys could train together, and James could wrestle with his manhood, and Chris and his wife train together. But like Joe and I come home to myself. Joe goes home to his wife. She's a UFC fighter. She's quarantining herself. So literally, we're in contact with each other and his spouse and Juju for me. So, I mean, we train a little bit. We're teaching virtual classes. So, I mean, in that situation, I don't think it's necessarily because you're mitigating that risk a little bit, I guess,
No, for sure. For sure. I think you are, when you limit it the way that you're talking about it. And I'll be honest with you, we did the same thing in the very beginning. We said we'll have these, hey, we got to shut the academy down, but we'll do some training here. That lasted twice. And then we were like, this is out of hand. We got to shut it down. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't want to shut down at all. I was adamant about I'm a firm believer in I do not want to close my academy for anything, But it got to a point where, one, I was kind of told that I needed to, but two, it started to make a lot of sense that we needed to really start to try to do whatever we could to slow that any type of contact or process down,
Right. Yeah, I don't know enough about this thing, and I don't think a lot of people do, about how this thing is going to behave to say, hey, this is what we should do or what we shouldn't do. I think we're all in the same agreement that, let's err a little bit on the side of caution. You know what I mean? I think we all are. Everything I've seen from you guys is that, that's what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, I'll be happier kind of taking a little bit more of a conservative look at things than not,
I saw your post, Brian, today about new people calling, and I couldn't believe it. We were getting calls, and I was like, man, right now might not be the time you want to start jiu-jitsu. I was like, wait a couple months, we'll do it. It'll be awesome, but right now,
for real,
I don't want to start.
Dude, I'm getting messages and calls about, hey, man, I know that you're closed down right now, but I want to join. What do I got to do? I've got people wanting to buy gis and needing this equipment. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I got you. I'll help you out. No problem. Keep watching the virtual classes. And then when you can come in, we'll get you in there and start training regular. But yeah, I mean, I'm receiving multiple messages and about people that want to sign up. So, I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, I've had a few freezes, which was unfortunate. Everybody's in this situation, but for the most part, the majority of my students are standing strong. I'm teaching, like literally we are working more now than what I historically do. I teach 3 30-minute privates a day. I've got 4 virtual classes a day, plus we're remodeling a little bit. So by the time I'm done at night, when it's, 8 o'clock at night, I'm exhausted.
And honestly, this like the virtual format has I don't want to say become the norm, but so many school owners are doing that, and we're starting to reach a far more diverse demographic than we do with just our typical advertising or people who are going to walk through the front door. So we've said it a few times in our virtual class instruction that people have the opportunity right now to potentially take their first free trial class from the comfort of their own home. We've definitely all experienced people who are just too nervous to walk in and try out jiu-jitsu, so I think that's part of the reason that we're getting those new leads.
I mean, I've got students that sat in the parking lot for 4 times before they finally got the courage to come in and open the front door. Now they love it. And this virtual environment kind of gives them a segue into, hey, this thing is going to end eventually, and it's something that I've always been interested in doing. I follow this or I follow that. I'm in my house, quarantining myself. Why don't I try some of these things, or why don't I do some of them? So, I mean, it's been a good thing for people to, experience what the instruction would be like if they were there from a person.
In a sense, get to know the instructor, your
right? Because I still joke around. I was messing with him the other day. I mean, it's something that we still do. I'm about ready to take this thing inside because my phone's getting ready to die. But it's something that somebody can see and get a feel for the environment that they're going to be in. If they've got somebody in there that's like clashes with like their personality, is like, like for me, that would be that person. But, they can kind of get a feel for, I can kind of relate, or I understand how this person teaches, or I get the feel for what they're trying to say here. I had a guy that messaged me and was like, hey, this position. I was like, I was really kind of confused what you were talking about. But we worked through the position, and he's not even one of my students. And I'm doing these virtual classes online for everyone, because there's some people that aren't doing that,
Right. And for me, you crossed off the 3 biggest things that will keep people from training jiu-jitsu. One is the fear of walking through the front door. And it's a hard thing for someone that hasn't trained before. I commend anybody that does it, but I don't blame you if you don't. It's a hard thing to want to walk through the door and do. 2, it's reaching people that you don't normally, reach out to. Like in a normal jiu-jitsu class, especially if you're a beginner, you're on the mat with 20, 25 people you've never met before. Some big guys, younger guys, like women, bigger, smaller, older, younger, more experienced, less experienced. That's really difficult. And 3, the vibe. You have no idea what the vibe is going to be like. And so right now, Brian, you're hitting all 3, right? You're like, hey, you don't have to walk through the front door. You just hop on your computer and you can see. Number 2, like, you don't have to worry about the variability. Like, you can just pay attention to me. This is kind of what's going on, and this is what happens in class every night. Don't worry about all of them. Pay attention to what I'm telling you to do. Try to do it to your best of your ability, and that's it. And experience the vibe.
The vibe is the big thing, man. Like, you gotta have a good vibe with what you're trying to do. If you're in an uncomfortable or awkward environment, like, that makes it terrible for everyone. It's like,
which is another reason that those live formats are so valuable. Anybody can cut and chop and put together a perfect commercial to make their academy look a certain way. But when you're live interacting with people, making those comments and seeing natural reactions in your natural demeanor, I think that it's really made a lot more people comfortable with just the concept of jiu-jitsu.
I agree with that as well, because you guys know during a class on any given night, it's there's that vibe that we're talking about kind of takes place. There's some joking and there's a little bit of laughing here and there. It's a little bit looser than what you might see if you were in a in a karate school, something like that. You know what I mean? It's the way jiu-jitsu is. And
Another one of the
I feel for that to be like, hey, like, you know, I might make fun of myself a little bit if I'm trying to find my words and I'm not explaining things the way I want to. You know what I mean? I'll knock myself down a peg or two, and it's good to humanize yourself with your group. You know what I mean? And when people get a sense of that, and they get a sense of how you're relating to the person that you're working with and trying to teach the technique with, it makes them more comfortable. You know what I mean? And that person that's watching that online is much more likely to say, hey, I'm going to go learn jiu-jitsu. And I know obviously this is a business sense of these things, and like we want more members, but the more people that in this world that do jiu-jitsu, the better this world is going to be.
I can understand what you guys are saying with the vibe and all that, and people that don't know kind of can see what techniques and what goes on. But when it's time to roll and actually go at it, that's going to be a stiff punch in the face, man. Things get real right there, you know. You can't get that unless you get your ass on those mats, and you got that big ass 250-pound guy trying to strangle you to death. So it's good that they could see stuff, but that's going to be a culture shock when it's time to go.
When somebody's sweat is dripping in your eye or like in your mouth,
and bleeding and drooling on each other, and
you're grabbing on their sweaty foot,
on you, and stinky feet and farts and everything else. You know, this I don't know what we all signed up for, man. It's a disgusting sport. I should have stuck to golf.
Nothing is worse though is when you're trying to teach like a mount escape, and when your dummy sweats in your mouth while you're trying to instruct. And I know my student is watching right now.
Speaking of which, guys, there's a couple. There's a. Could you guys mute your mics when you're not talking there? There's a couple of things coming in from the internet for this live stream, if you don't mind me asking. First off, Nancy Black, I don't know a lot of these people, said that, yeah, this is a huge fear for a lot of people is getting started. And let's see, Ryan Ferguson, a fan of this podcast, he wrote in, let's see, he's got a bunch of questions. How about, wow, all right, he's got another one while I'm talking. How about, just tuning in, anyone hear about the Navy vessel repurposed for healthcare stationed, sorry, Brian, I'm going to mute you for a sec. There's definitely somebody talking behind you. I can hear you. Ryan says, just tuning in.
Yeah.
Anyone hear about the Navy vessel repurposed for healthcare stationed or about to be stationed in New York? Go. Yeah,
Riddler. That's called the USNS Comfort. It's a USNS ship, meaning it's run by civilians that work for the U.S. government, okay, like merchant marines. But the people that actually work, it's actually a floating hospital with ICU units, surgical suites. It's all the medical staff that are on that are U.S. Navy doctors, nurses, and hospital corpsmen. So that was my specialty when I was in the service, was being a doc. I was a corpsman with the Marines. I never served on the USNS Comfort, but that's an amazing. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find that level of medical expertise in a regular hospital in the United States. What they can handle and the level of care that they can provide is unsurpassed.
Do you know? Do you personally know whether it's actually stationed there or not? Do you know anything about this?
It's from what I understand, the president did a speech in front of the Comfort this afternoon, and that's in Norfolk at the naval station, and that's the largest naval base on the planet.
That's
for
Virginia,
any country.
Right?
It's massive. Yeah, it's in Norfolk, Virginia. And now the Comfort is supposed to be leaving and going to New York City. It's going to be sitting like right in the Hudson, and they're going to be putting sick people. They're going to be taking care of sick people, just like an additional hospital. But
Wow.
the level of care that they are able to provide is amazing. I mean, if you were sick and you ended up on that, you got a really good shot at survival. The level of care they have is amazing.
That's awesome to hear. I'm sure that's what Ryan's asking. Let me just tell you the other things that are coming in. You guys can respond all at once there. Has this pandemic opened anyone's eyes up for more future internet-based instructions like Grappler's Guide, that kind of thing, after things come back? And in addition to that last question, Do you think you'll continue the online classes after this is all said and done? I feel like it's a great reference because training shouldn't strictly be in the gym. The mind needs to be exercised outside the physical aspect of inside the gym. You know, it's a good marketing tactic as well. Thanks, Ryan. And it's a great supplemental portion of learning. I guess the point is, Ryan's asking, is anybody going to keep doing this when things come back? What do you think?
I considered it. I probably won't though, because I already teaching. My teaching schedule is completely full. I mean, maybe if I was sick and couldn't leave the house again, then definitely. But me personally, teaching online, I probably won't. And keep it on the mats.
We're going. We had planned already to do some stuff with virtual training and the YouTube, our YouTube channel and things like that. And this just kind of like forced us to do it a lot faster than what we were planning on doing it. So, I mean, we were already moving in that direction to an online format. So it really just kind of pushed us faster than what we wanted to go at it and forced our hand. But I do, and we're going to continue this style of format, not totally afterwards, but in as a supplement to regular training.
You know what my favorite videos are too? I wanted to mention this, are the guys that are doing the videos with their wives as their ukis. I actually enjoy watching those videos. I just have to say that.
Did you guys see the look that Chris just gave his wife right now? That was awesome.
It's true. I find myself
so much.
See? Now, Stace, now you need to figure out how to get out of that choke.
You got yourself in there.
I started a ladies only class so that my wife would start training. She has no excuse now.
We have a child. I'm busy.
Mm-hmm.
It's at bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
So I could. We're not. I mean, Port City's not doing online classes. I think for the most part because so many of you guys are handling that right now. We might do a little bit of stuff here and there. I'm still hoping that George is going to post a video us boxing with two of the boxing legends of all time coaching us. But to answer the question of the internet, the reality is that yes, the online learning is it's a tool, right, for us to increase the knowledge level we have in jiu-jitsu. But the reality is nothing replaces physical training, and it never will in jiu-jitsu. There's an aspect that all of the higher level guys, on this will talk to you about, is that it gets to a point where your brain kind of, at least in the forefront of the role, kind of shuts down, and your body takes over based on muscle memory and how things feel. How things feel in a role is very, very critical, and that's something you just can't accomplish through online training alone. The rolling aspect of jiu-jitsu is what makes our martial art special, in that if you look at, let's see here, like the martial arts that you would see exercise the most in, let's say, mixed martial arts, wrestling, boxing, American boxing, jiu-jitsu, judo, those are all arts in which when you go to class on any given night, you're going to get thrown down. You're going to get punched. You're going to get submitted. You're going to get taken down. You're going to get pinned. Those are the things that make those arts very special, because every time they practice them, there's a martial component to what they're doing. And if we erase that from jiu-jitsu and say, hey, can you learn jiu-jitsu completely virtually? The answer is absolutely no, and not to an effective level.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I completely agree. And we were trying to move in a virtual standpoint just to supplement the live training aspect of it. But right now, with this stay-at-home thing that most people are under right now, I mean, like literally most people are under some type of stay-at-home social distancing contact thing where they don't want people in contact with other people. You know, you're pretty much staying at home or in a close
confines of you and your friends or your family, you know, in that environment, you know, this is the best thing that we can do to supplement that right now. And, you know, there are people out there that are missing that, that aspect of training and the mental detachment from life that it brings to a lot of people. And I think that, you know, even if I'm doing solo drills and I'm trying to concentrate on what my instructor is telling me through a virtual class, at least for that 30 minutes or so that person is teaching that class, it takes me out of where I'm at now and brings me to, you know, where I'm at training jiu-jitsu and not having to worry about those things that are outside of my control.
Dude, you know what's crazy is like, it's and I was thinking about this, like, not only it's like jiu-jitsu is shut down in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, but not only that, it's like shut down all over the world.
Yeah,
the whole world. It's crazy. No jiu-jitsu.
Everything's shut down all over the world.
Yeah.
I agree, Brian. By the way, sorry, my computer crapped out on me, so I'm on the phone right now. But I agree. Like, I'm thankful that people like you and Chris are putting some stuff online so I can scratch an itch. You know what I mean? Like, I can't handle it. Like, you know, I've cleaned up my gi room like 4 times over. I folded everything twice. I've seen every video. You know what I mean? The fact that people are out there like yourselves that are putting stuff out there new. I know you guys are doing it for some of the newer folks so that they can get training, but just know that there are black belts watching that stuff being like, man, you're at least scratching an itch for me, like at least making me think, like the strategy turns on a little bit and I can kind of immerse myself in that for just a second. Like, I didn't mean to say right now it's not important. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I know what you meant.
It's the only thing we got right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hop in here, guys. Jay, George, maybe now's a good time for you to pimp your hot new YouTube channel, which is gonna go live tomorrow. Even these guys haven't seen it yet, but it looks like there's a lot of stuff that's going up there. Your wish for you and George's big boxing match, that's gonna come true. We also have you have your butt scooting tutorial, George, right? We have that coming in.
I own the butt scoot.
Yeah, George, I think, is making a pamphlet, video pamphlet of solo drills that are all named pretty relatively inappropriately. While I got you, there's 2 more. Sorry, I'm going to mute some people.
Listen,
here.
let me just say for the record, before you watch the video of Jay and I boxing, it's hard to get past his jab, man. That jab was killing me.
Yeah, but I've seen it a couple of times, and I'm wondering, man, if you did get past the jab, once you're in there, I mean, I don't think he can punch down that low. I mean, he might injure himself, right? You know, in a personal way, trying to hit you is what my reaction to that video.
One time. And I got him good, and I think I pissed him off because, man, I just started eating the friggin' jab.
Yeah, you did. And the fun part about that is that was in front of boxing legend Mickey there, right? And his brother.
Nicky.
And they're watching thinking this is hilarious. So
they were disgusted with me.
That's going up.
Nicky Ward was my coach.
Yeah.
Nicky Eklund.
You know what? Don't put that on him, because if he was your coach, you would have beat the shit out of Jay.
No way, man. I had the mastermind. I had Nicky Eklund coaching me, who was the mastermind behind Mickey Ward.
Yeah, I know what he told you to do. He told you to put your hand right on George's head and go from there. Listen, a couple of people jumped in here. Kyle Goslin is watching from who knows where out on the West Coast. And,
I miss that son of a bitch. What a great dude.
He's not saying much. He just keeps saying all your names over and over again. And someone yelled, "Dad." I don't know what that means, but
I miss him. What a great guy. I miss that kid.
That must be you.
What a great guy.
Must be you, right? Yeah.
He just had another kid, too.
Yeah, he did.
Hey, congratulations, brother. Just know that everybody over here misses you. Like, I know you're going to come home one day. But congratulations, brother. Like, amazing child. The mailman must be a really good-looking guy.
So you guys know we're on like a 30-second delay. It's not a swearing delay, but it is a 30-second delay. So it'll be a little while before he sees this and then writes back. But I'm sure he'll hear this.
Come back to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and reclaim his title as the king of all white belts.
Right. This guy came in day one and was like a one-man wrecking crew. Like wooden tap, strong as hell. I like steel trap of a brain. You know what I mean? It was tough from day one.
I actually grabbed him right off the top, like on the first couple of days. I mean, the first couple of rolls on his first day, and just popped him down. And I actually dove underneath him for this loop while he's standing there, thinking, "Okay, I'll pull him over." And dude just goes, "No, not gonna fall over. No." I'm like hanging off of him from underneath, going. And then Gilbert there just looks at me and goes, "So."
And and the most perfect place that this. So he had to go to San Diego for work. He's a medic in the special forces, and the place that he found, of course, was Victory. And I'm like so happy that he went west and found a place so suiting for him to train. And also, like a funny story, like if any East Coasters know the USS Constitution, he was able to get us a big American flag that once flew on the mast of the Constitution, and that's the flag that hangs in our academy today. And just know that, bro, every day that I walk on those mats, I see that flag, I think about you.
Kyle did write back. He said, graduating – sorry, guys, I'm going to wreck this. I'm not a military guy. Graduating IDC school next week and headed up to Port Hueneme. You want to say that for me? In July.
Port Hueneme.
There you
it's
go.
Port Hueneme, California.
It's in California? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that near any jiu-jitsu, do you know?
Oh, well, it's California. It's going to be around jiu-jitsu on every street corner, right?
Right.
The cool thing about Kyle was he learned how to defend the guillotine after I guillotined him about 257 times. But he finally figured it out. He finally figured out to keep his head up when he shoots.
Everybody eventually learns.
You gotta learn. You gotta learn. Hey, so I got a question because we talked to John Anik today for a little while about the UFC and you know what's going on. And so your wife, and I'm pointing at the gentleman next to Brian Marvin. She fights in the UFC. Does she have like a what's like? Did she have a fight scheduled or what's she up to? Like.
Very luckily for us, she's just coming off a fight, so she fought right here in Houston at UFC 247. So very likely, the women in the UFC don't fight nearly as frequently as the men do. She's in the flyweight division 125, where she just fought and won against Andrea Lee here in Houston. And her next fight will very likely be in the summer. Now, of course, all the craziness going on right now. I mean, Dana's still promising the Tony Khabib fight's going to go down, but I don't see how, when, or where that's going to be a possibility. They did have that one event where they first tried to, do it with no crowd, and then they were going to do, one fight at a time, only essential personnel, and that got shut down also. So, barring any major change in sporting venues and regulations anytime immediately, we're hoping everything clears back up by this summer. Late July, early August is what we're looking for next, and hoping that all this will be over by then so we can get back to regular life.
Well, we'll have that podcast up tomorrow, Sunday, if you want to listen in. John did say a bunch of interesting things about what he thinks is coming up and stuff. I won't recap it now, but you get the idea.
Yeah, we'll check it out for sure. Love John, though. I'll be excited to check that podcast out. He's a great guy. He's commentated a bunch of Lawrence fights, so we've known him for years now.
Yeah, and I think what you'll find is that he provides some insight into kind of at least what he's seeing right now as far as kind of what the next few months might look like and kind of what the UFC is digging into. He doesn't get, there's no confirmations of anything, but you'll get kind of a good indication of what they're trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish anyway. And from a fighter's perspective, that this might be the most frustrating thing ever because while all of us school owners, we're leaning on students to pay for our, to rent the place and to pay people and all those stuff. But these fighters, their purse is everything they got.
That's right.
So they're waiting to find out what's going to happen here and when they can get in the octagon again and trade hands with people. And, you know what I mean? It's a very uncertain time if you're a fighter, and there's nothing you can. Training is super hard if you're an MMA fighter. So tune into the John Anik episode once we put it out. He shines at least a little bit of light on what you might be able to expect over the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, we'll check it out for sure. Thank you.
Jay, I'm sorry. Jay, Rich Saab wrote in. He wants to know, hey, Jay, I was wondering if you progressed from double stuffed Oreos to Entenmann's double chocolate donuts yet. I have a feeling you're going to have an opinion on that.
So here's the thing. I would love to placate everybody by telling them I've moved on to the mega stuffed Oreos or the Entenmann's chocolate covered donut, which I did see in the grocery store today and wanted to have. But I got to draw the line somewhere.
Where's the line? I'm confused.
I've already crossed.
You do not draw the line, Jay, anywhere. I know you do not. I've never seen you draw the line anywhere.
So are you saying the line is double stuffed Oreos? Is that what you're saying?
Mega stuffed Oreos. I guess.
You're mega stuffed.
What's the same moderations for wimps?
Yes, I mean wimps is a good podcast way of putting it.
Right.
I just, for me, like I literally a couple weeks ago, I was getting ready to go out in pants. I was in the best shape of my life, and now
round is a shape, Jay.
What's that?
Round is a shape.
It is I mean, I know. I look at it when I'm in the shower.
Wow, the phrasing on this podcast. That's the 4th phrasing call. Phrasing.
I'll tell you this: the world will be a better place when I can get with you, brother, in Houston, and we can mix it up a little bit and get back, and I can watch from outside those gates and watch you get back into the ring again and compete, man. I'm looking forward to that. That's what I want to see.
Hell yeah, man, for sure, definitely.
And my guess is, by the way, like, talk to me about your recovery last 6 months, what that was like. I mean, obviously I saw the match when it happened, and I've had that injury, man. It's brutal, and it's tough to come back from. And you were about to have your first super fight back. Tell me about the recovery. What was that like?
It was weird because, I basically tried to take absolutely zero time or as little time as possible off the mat because I was still having to teach classes at that time. So it was up until the surgery, and then after the surgery, it was like really, really wild how that all went down as far as the recovery. I started training in July. Actually, the first time I started training back live was in Las Vegas at Evan Dunham's gym with some friends that I have out there, David Gill and a lot of his black belts. But my surgery was in April, I think, like right after my birthday, I can't remember. And then by July, I started like barely training again. I mean, I was live training again. So it was I'm a stubborn individual when it comes to recovery, and I don't like to not train. So, like, even this time right now is difficult for me. So, because even for my neck surgery, I've got a prosthetic disc in my neck at my C6-7. And,
wow, man. How long have you had that?
I got that at Walter Reed in 2011.
How long were you out for that? How long were you off the mat? How long until you started rolling again?
2 weeks.
Okay, well, you're fucking crazy, but I mean, how long is it sort of normally to you? I mean, like, did you feel better like maybe 6-8 weeks later, 6 months later?
No, what's funny is, the doctor told me, he said, as soon as you get done with this surgery, you can return back to normal activities.
Right.
Like,
did you tell him what your normal activities
Do you know
were?
what you're doing?
Well, what's funny was I was married at the time, and my wife was there, and she was like, "Don't tell him that. This dude's crazy. You tell him normal activities. Like, you can't do that." She goes, "He does this, this, and this." And he's like, "No, for real." He goes, "When you get done with the surgery, your neck's going to be stronger than it was prior to this injury."
he said the only thing that really needs to heal is the incision on your neck.
Oh, that's cool. Right. Yeah.
Goes,
yeah, like the ACL. Like the ACL is going to be stronger once it's done. I had the same thing, and you just got to deal with
well,
the
the
pain.
ACL is a little bit different, though. The ACL
That's way different.
The ACL is a lot different than the neck. The ACL,
Right. No, I meant I wasn't talking about mine. I mentioned it, but I'm talking about your ACL.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the thing about it is, my ACL, I was still trying to take it easy on it, but those things. I had a cadaver ACL, so they like had to do, I guess, or something. But there's like those anchors, I guess, that need to like seat in your joint or in the bone or something. I mean, I'm an idiot when it comes to medical things. I just like to choke people. But I just knew that as much as I could do, I wanted to be able to do. I lived in that like machine that exercised my leg, like if
the CPM,
whatever it was called. Like I literally was. Any time that I was not on my feet, I was in that machine, and I was adjusting it to push it to my knee to its absolute limits, and would exercise that thing for like literally hours and hours and hours a day to stretch it and get it moving. And I don't know if that played a huge part into it, but I mean, I had barely any issues with my knee, and I didn't do a huge physical therapy on it either. The place that I was going to, when I walked in there, I told the guy, I was like, hey, look, I said, I'm a
professional athlete.
I'm a professional athlete. And he's like, yeah, whatever, guy. But I was like, look, I'm a professional athlete. I was like, this is what I do. I was like, I am a very athletic person. I don't want to be handled with kitten gloves. Just like, I need you to push me and recover me because I need to get through it. He had me doing shit like side steps and freaking like inside steps with your legs, and I was like, I can do all this bullshit off of YouTube and watching, in my academy. I don't need to come. And after like 2 weeks of going to this guy, I was like, you know what, I can do this recovery on my own. And I just literally tried to exercise. I didn't do any lifting. I still don't lift. I just tried to physically exercise my knee as much as humanly possible.
First of all, God forbid if you start lifting. I'm going to stop training with you. And then, but the interesting part about the neck is that so many jiu-jitsu people end up going to get vertebra fused. And that's their answer for the neck injuries that they experience. And when you and I talked, you were like, bro, like tell those people, like investigate a prosthetic replacement instead of a surgical fusing. I was back on the mat. I'd never have any issues again. I can invert. I can do whatever I want. I'm better than I ever was. When everyone that had their vertebra fused has less flexibility in their spine now, there's a lot of stuff they can't do.
Yeah, I got one of each. I got a fusion and a discectomy. I got them both at the exact same time. So the VA just wouldn't approve a dual artificial disc at the time. So I'm fused at 6'7". I got an artificial at 5'6", and yeah, I lost a little bit of range of motion, and it did take a 6-month recovery for me. I couldn't get on the mats for 6 months, and that was killer. But
both at the same time.
Same time, yeah. So double disc, one fusion, one discectomy.
Was it a degenerative thing that had happened over time, or was there a single?
Nah, just shitty military doctors, man. I had what they called a couple of herniations, and I separated active duty in 2014. And while I was on transitional assistance, I went to a specialist called DISC, the Desert Institute for Spine Care in Arizona. And as soon as I saw them, they redid the imaging, and they told me then that I had 2 completely ruptured discs. So we did the surgery pretty quickly after that.
Amazing. What branch of the military were you in?
Air Force. I still am. I was separated completely for about 6 or 7 months, and then I started shopping for health insurance for being my professional fighter wife, and decided, 1 weekend a month ain't that bad. So I'm still in the reserves. Traveled back to Phoenix, Arizona at Luke Air Force Base once a month.
Awesome. Thanks very much, bro.
You know, I got to tell you, I'm going to call him out since he hasn't joined. I told Pal he should join. I told Sweetheart that was on here, and we were chit-chatting and catching up. And he told me he was indisposed and in the powder room, and that's why he wasn't joining. So
Is he allowed to have guests after 8 o'clock at night?
I don't think in the basement. I don't think so.
Is he allowed to have guests
in the basement?
Right.
I think down there. I think he gets table scraps, and the occasional glass of water, maybe some sunlight, 1 hour a day. It's kind of like being in prison, I think.
You remember the whole hood horse thing? We had Philly Pete on last week. I forgot to ask him about the hood horses.
The hood
Those
horse.
are real. Those are real.
Those are all right. I'll pop in. I'm gonna defend Pete here. I called him out on it. I looked it up. Absolutely real. 100% real.
Dude, I
George.
YouTubed that day of the podcast. You remember that?
I do. It was
for real.
Yeah, it totally for real.
Yeah.
Right down in the city, there are the horses, right in the hood.
Not everything we talk about on this podcast is bullshit. Like some of it's true.
Now, I don't know, maybe 10%.
100% real, because I grew up in New Jersey, and I used to drive out to Philly, over to BJJ United once in a while. When I worked, I used to drive produce truck down there on like Tuesday, Thursdays, and my lunch hour would be to BJJ United to get my ass kicked by Jared and Philly Pete. And that was part, I would see hood horses. So they are real, George.
Dude, I believe it. You're preaching to the choir, man. I believe in them. Brian Marvin,
we got to go capture ourselves a Philly unicorn.
Hey, good luck.
We got horses in New Hampshire. I don't have to go there for the horses.
Right.
George, I've never asked you this on the podcast before. Have you actually ridden a horse before?
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Hobbits don't ride horses.
So I'll tell you, like, one time.
I'm sorry, guys. All right, I'm sorry. I lit him up. Go ahead.
Have I told you about the Little League World Series? So, I was in South America, dude, in like Chile, in this crazy place, and we all went riding horses, and everybody had like a normal sized horse, and they gave me like a miniature horse, dude.
A Shetland pony?
A tiny. It was it wasn't a pony, but it wasn't a real size horse either. It's like,
why would they do that? I don't understand.
So like, riding the horse around Patagonia, and there's like this big mud puddle. Everybody's horse goes through it, no problem. Mine goes in. Dude, it was so deep that my feet were like in the mud puddle. The horse was so small.
Oh, you mean so it was like 8 or 9 inches deep is what you're saying?
Dude, they gave me the little horse, man.
That is a picture I'm going to keep in my mind. George, you upon your pony in a puddle. There you go, a Texas.
Oh.
I'm going to rewrite that Lyle Lovett song just for you.
Oh, Lord, that was amazing.
It's true. It's true, man.
All right, so...
go ahead.
Well, I don't know what all these things mean, but someone wanted to know about halfway through the bottle of wine, how am I feeling? I'm feeling great. Ryan Ferguson says that he wants to go horse riding with you and have a jousting tournament. Once again, I'm going to call Ryan out on phrasing this time, so, but there you go.
I'm not, are we talking about a sword fight here?
What kind of sword?
Whoa. That's something totally different, George.
Come on, George.
Once again, something totally different. I think this jousting match needs to happen, and I think it needs to be a video podcast.
Is it possible to have? I'm not. It's been 25 years since I was on a horse. Can you have like a regular sized horse and a tiny little horse and still have jousting? I mean, wouldn't they miss each other?
Well, you can direct your joust, but I feel like it's probably unfair.
It feels
Just make sure you keep
unfair.
your mouth
Yeah,
closed,
it feels a
George.
little unfair.
What's that?
Make sure you keep your mouth closed.
That's a good general rule.
I'm speechless.
It's a good general rule.
I don't know. I would say the person with the little horse would win because they're lower, right? Their hips are lower to the ground, right? The person with the lower hips.
She is a keeper, George. A keeper.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say right there.
I
Not the size of the horse, dude.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's
It is
not.
about the size of the horse. Like, you're not going to win because you're on a donkey and the other person's on a Clydesdale. You're not going to win.
Dude, I got speed and quickness.
Donkeys aren't fast. You are the donkey in this equation.
More phrasing. Phrasing.
I mean, maybe
He's not
donkey.
wrong.
Maybe donkey's the wrong word.
He's not wrong. Yeah.
Maybe you meant,
Big-
did you
big
mean
things
mule?
and
Is he the
small
mule
things.
in this situation?
Donkey.
I like donkey. I kind of like donkey. Like, you're like Eddie Murphy, you know?
That'll do, donkey.
Well, Ryan on the internet there did offer to ride a mule along with you, so yeah, I mean, to make it fair. So that's a good man out there.
So, hey, so good news, Brian. Like I was saying, like I've been saying, I'm going to come to Houston, right, and come and train.
You keep saying that. You keep saying that.
Well, here's the deal, man. I just had 2 trips canceled on me that were supposed to happen back to back. One was to Pans, and one was to Puerto Escondido for BJJ in Paradise. And now I got all this vacation time, and I promised a couple people that I'm going to slide by and train with them. I've been talking to Gracie about coming by and train with him once this thing clears up. I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to pack my bag with some geese, and I'm going to hit the road and go train with some people. So I'm going to make it real, bro. I'm going to make it real.
You're going to go road trip, place, that kind of thing, Jay? Thinking about stringing them out?
Yep. Probably 10
Come
days.
on down. It'd be great to have you.
I would love
Jay
that, man.
Mansfield's
I love that.
excellent adventure.
It won't be well. It'll be pretty fun, but it'll get weird. It's gonna get weird.
Yeah, man. Just let me know. I plan on still going to the Philippines in September for that BJJ something, whatever it's called. I just want to go to the Philippines, and there's jiu-jitsu involved, so I was down.
Well, we'll hook up in June anyway, right? If you're going to be in New York, we'll make something happen, right?
Yeah, I plan on being still there in June.
We might be in the neighborhood.
Yeah, we might be in the neighborhood.
Sounds good.
I missed all you New Yorkers, man. I missed out on the last trip that George went down, and I felt like that was a huge miss on my part. So if you get a chance to do that again, I'll be there.
Oh man,
You missed out. That was amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
you could. You know what was even better than seeing me ride a little tiny horse was probably seeing Alan Shabaro use me as his uke showing judo throws.
I can't imagine how that would even look.
Hey,
I totally can imagine.
The Hulk grabbed what's that little dude was like bam, 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 bam. It was pretty much like that.
Didn't Alan throw you into Brian's knee?
Yeah, yes, I think so.
He threw you into Brian's knee. You hyperextended Brian's knee.
Wasn't me, man. No.
Hey, don't be bringing me to this equation.
He got thrown into your knee.
I had nothing to do with it.
No, Alan threw him into your knee.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't me.
I was tossed around like a rag doll. Like a rag doll.
I want to see 300 use George's Nuki. I think that would be interesting.
So Kyle Gosselin still watching. He said also, have any of you fine gentlemen heard of Espiritu Jiu-Jitsu? ESPIRTU.
Where's it at?
I don't know. He didn't capitalize it, but I don't know if Kyle knows how to capitalize shit. So there you go. I'll actually look it up so that there isn't silence here.
It's in the place. I can't pronounce it, but Greg, you had it nailed down. But that's where it is. Port
Hueneme.
Hueneme, yeah, in California.
Well, there you go.
Hey, it's funny. It appears to be an Oxnard,
right?
Which I learned today is where Ferguson's from.
Does anyone know? Let's see. Instructor is Jeremy Espiritu, I guess is how you'd say his name. No? Okay, well, there you go. Not a negative thing there, Kyle, but apparently these guys don't know. And Rich Flynn says, this isn't Tiger King. There you go. A timely comment.
From Captain Flynn. Captain Richie.
There is a picture of me on the internet with a baby lion. So maybe we could make it like that.
Are you sure you want to? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You're a patron of these types of folks, George?
I'll go there. I'm not afraid. All right, Jay, you know what else you missed? These guys took me to some pastry thing in New York City, and it changed my life. Changed my life, dude.
Three-colored cookies.
Oh.
That was That was a little Italy we took you guys, where the pastry shop was, in the Italian restaurant.
Man,
you
that
guys
Italian
ate good that day.
I was gonna bring it up earlier. That Italian restaurant was the shit.
That was so good.
I'm ready to be changed.
Are you talking about the cookies that have like 3 colors in them, like a little rainbow cookie kind of?
The rainbow cookies. Yeah. Those are rainbow cookies.
Is that what they're called? I'm sorry, I don't know the name. Yeah.
Oh, it was a great, whatever restaurant that was, it was amazing.
That was a great time.
Really.
Come on,
do it again.
We'll do it again.
I would love to.
Man, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm in, man. This will be our victory tour coming back.
That's right.
You know what I have to say? I'm happy to see that all of you guys are looking healthy and, you're not sick. That really makes me happy to see.
I'm using my Tortuga soap. That's why.
Yeah.
Time to re-up on that soap.
Guys. Thank you. Oh my gosh, seriously, I have a lot of support right now. Right?
I'm sure you do.
That's great stuff. Thank you so much.
Hey, Andrea, Amanda, maybe it's a good time to talk about the antibacterial you got going on right now.
Well, I actually am probably one of the very few people that have hand sanitizers available. So if you guys need hand sanitizers, I make them myself. Find them on, tortugasoapcompany.etsy.com. So my soap shop's on Etsy. That's where I do a lot of my business and face-to-face, but we're obviously not doing face-to-face right now. So I got.
Do you throw exchanges, or you throw them a bar of soap and they throw you some cash?
Come by the house and I'll throw stuff at you.
Yeah. You gonna throw your cats at me?
Dude, no more cats, man. The cats are no longer in the building.
No.
For real?
Sorry to hear that, George. Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah. There's a cat. The last one died just 2 weeks ago, man. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Damn, sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah. Dude, that was another great time when you showed up at my house with Joey Bozick.
Mm-hmm.
And I never met the and it's snow out in the thing, and Joey Bozick down in the wheelchair, and it was like, oh man, this is gonna be
that
a
was
mess.
A good time.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
I think we got about wrap it up here on our end, guys.
Yeah. I'm super stoked, man. I just sitting around talking to you guys about jiu-jitsu makes me feel better. I don't want to be depressed. Let's be positive.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. It's good to meet you too, brother, man. We'll come down and visit you.
Yeah, for sure. It's great to meet all you guys too. I know we didn't do a real formal introduction. My name's Joe Murphy. Just a longtime friend of Brian's, and brought me down here to open up and teach at that Riverstone Academy. So I've been having a blast down here, and hopefully I'll chime back in with you guys a few more times. So great to meet all of you.
Yeah, for sure. Great to meet you too, brother.
Chris, man, thanks for coming on, my friend.
Anytime, guys. Jay, whenever you come out for Croiler, let me know. I'll come up, or you can come down.
Yeah, I meant to say that. Like, once I hit Indiana, man, I won't go there without seeing you. I promise.
Yeah, Chris,
Greg,
I'll let
Ryan.
you know when I'm in town. I'll have a rental, and I'll have my son with me, so we'll come up and train if at all humanly possible.
Absolutely.
Greg, Ryan, and Nicky, man, you other three goons, be safe,
Yeah,
man.
seriously.
You too, man.
You guys are
You
three of
guys
the
be
best
safe.
people around.
All the love in the best world and the best wishes coming your way, guys. Stay safe out there.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, brother. All right, we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thank you. Thank you.